So, are we gonna say what the commission is if it's the competitive advantage?
Oh, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday, and that means one thing and one thing only. That means it's time for our Owner Talk podcast. Over 15 weeks, this podcast maps out as we start from zero on our campaign to support Mexican tourism post COVID. Over 15 weeks, me and my co-host Peter will be covering our journey of how we try to distribute 1,000 bookings per month to quality car rental companies in Mexico. Join us on our journey as we try to sign partnerships, drive traffic to our website, and try to make everything work. And watch us succeed or fail miserably. Join us and learn with us what to do and what to do not, with this exclusive all access to Practical Business 101. All right, hello.
Hey, buddy.
Welcome to another Tuesday with the Owner Talk podcast.
Yes. It feels fantastic today, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Week five, things are turning for the better.
Like episode 6. Apart from the fact that we're heading headlong towards the middle of the 15-week. What do you say? Front line or line?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like. I can't see the end yet, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
So it's still optimistic. And today, actually, we know what we're going to be talking about in advance.
Yes. That's a little bit of change which we did since a couple of the last episodes. We decided to go a little bit more structural in the production side, and we actually prepared some notes ahead of time. So what are we going to be talking about today?
What are we going to be talking about? Yep.
Yeah, we have 3 major topics, I would say, or maybe even 4 if we have time to get to them. We'll definitely be talking about our pitch deck, which you produced last week. We'll be definitely explaining Affiworks, which is our engine behind the whole business, and we'll probably try and get to one of the success factors which we mentioned in episode 4. So we may be going into another success factor to explain. So that sounds kind of interesting as an introduction.
The pitch deck.
The pitch deck, yeah. How much work was that?
I don't know. It was an interesting exercise because for me personally, I always associate pitch deck with startups, and I wouldn't consider what we're doing a typical startup. But at the same time,
Why
after
not?
going through it's in my mind, a startup is a just a group of people who come up with a crazy idea and then try to raise funds and just do all kinds of things that
Cool
um
stuff.
cool stuff the cool stuff
Yeah, the cool stuff.
they do the cool stuff.
Let's just start up a business.
Yeah. And from my point of view, I just never saw myself in that position. But on the other hand, I guess it's just the kind of limitations that you put in your head, and there's absolutely nothing bad about it. Uh,
I've never actually written a pitch deck. You know, even when I think about it, it's something which somebody who is an entrepreneur should be at least once in his life able to be to do something like that. I mean, I consider that a very good skill. I don't think I have the right skill for it. I tried a couple of times. I didn't have to go through the hard time of actually asking somebody about or pitching something to someone up until now. But you're very good at it, I must say.
well, I'm not sure. I mean, I guess when you're running pitch decks, your success should be measured by the amount of money that you raise on it, or the kind of the kind of successful businesses that you build based on the pitch deck. So one thing is that it looks good, and the other thing is what it does, what it's
Yeah.
supposed to do. So I think that's kind of what we're gonna see
Yeah.
Now,
On the other hand, I was gonna say, I've been on the other side a couple of times. I've been on the other side, somebody trying to pitching something to me or a group of people who I was involved in, like investors or people who
okay,
had, and that was a nice experience. But again, I have to say, I admire the people that actually sit down and thoroughly are able to write down the main points of the business and actually catch somebody's attention to such an extent that there is actually money raised
yeah,
at the end of the process.
yeah. Uh, I've done it a few times in my life. I used to work as a management consultant, which is we used to work with a lot of numbers. So, kind of putting the structure together theoretically is not such a difficult thing to do. But
Mm-hmm.
what I would
Yeah.
say the most interesting part of this exercise was actually doing it for the business that we're working on because we kind of had everything. Um, um, in our heads. We kind of knew where
Yeah.
we were going. We
Yeah.
had these like bits and pieces. We had
Yeah.
the KPIs, the things that we were supposed to do, but this gave it a
It's
little bit more of a high level approach and point of view.
yeah, it's transforming that gut feeling and that amount of experience which we have with business into something tangible and something presentable, and actually structuring the thoughts and actually having challenging it by ourselves once we see it as a whole.
Yeah. Uh, that's definitely the thing that when you put everything together on the slides, it actually challenges a few of the things that you thought were clear and that were simple and easy. And that is, and it also gives you some information that you kind of felt like, for example, competitors,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives it a little bit of structure. But I think you had a few topics, so that we don't jump from one topic to another. I think you had a few topics that you wanted to cover, because we could talk about the pitch deck, we could talk about all the things that were in there and so on for a very long time. Let's see, what was the first thing that you wanted to talk about? Let's take a look at it.
Well, we are talking about it. That was the pitch deck. We're talking about the pitch deck. We were supposed to go through the pitch deck and say what it cost and what it actually brought to our business. And you were just talking about basically the major point which it brought. I mean, there was a change of, and I think we should basically comment on that. There was a bit of a change in the business model, or not the business model, but the way we look at the business nowadays, and that's maybe something to which we could eventually end up while describing the pitch deck. And then the other part which we wanted to talk about was explaining Affiworks.
Definitely one of the things that we should talk about is the business case. That was an interesting thing that came out of the pitch deck, which is changing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
From the beginning, we've been talking about the fact that we want to distribute 1,000 bookings to car rental companies in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and based on what we've done previously
Mm-hmm.
with one of our clients
Mm-hmm.
who are in Mexico, was that our expectation was that our conversion rate should be 1%. So based on that assumption, we thought that, okay, to get 1,000 bookings, we will need to get 100,000 visitors to our website. As it turns out, based on the conversation with our developer, who's in
Mm-hmm.
charge of the analysis, who's in charge of the reports that we
Mm-hmm.
have, and so on and so on, what came out was that the conversion of 1% actually is based on click throughs. So if you think about it, this is a very important part of our whole process, which is the funnel. And
Mm-hmm.
if you think about the funnel, you obviously need to get somebody to come to your entry point, whatever
Yeah.
it is. So it'll be, in this case, it'll be our website. So people
Yeah.
need to come to our website. And then out of the people that come to the website, some people are going to click on our links that are actually taking them to our suppliers, which is
Mm.
the car rental companies. and there they may or may not make a booking.
Yeah.
So, and that is, so the conversion of 1% is between somebody coming to the website and clicking actually on a link, and then out of 100 people who click on that link, only 1% will make a booking.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the that's the 100,000 turns into
1,000
1,000
bookings.
bookings, right?
Yeah.
What we didn't take into consideration, and this might be maybe a little bit stupid, but that's kind of the things that you figure out as you move
It's a
along, I would
learning
say.
process. It's a learning
It's a learning
process.
process.
It's a learning process.
Is that we need a we also there would be certain and then and some it's also quite interesting because it's putting a lot of question into my head, because now the question becomes, okay, if we're choosing a relevant audience to go to the website, then
Yeah.
there's going to be certain bounce rate, which is
Mm-hmm.
people who are going to immediately leave
Leave.
the website
Yeah.
without taking any action.
Yes.
There's going to be certain percentage of people who are actually stay on the website because it's going to be relevant for them, and then there's going to be a certain percentage of people who are going to click on the link, which is going to take them to the suppliers page.
Yeah.
But this is a slightly different, I would say this is a slightly different model from what we have with our current supplier, because our current supplier is kind of they're doing kind of SEO. It's not very targeted what they're doing, so I guess we can get a little bit higher conversion rate of
Yeah.
the people who clicked on the link to make a reservation. But at the same time, we don't know how high the conversion rate is going to be to get people on the website and to actually click on that link, if that makes sense.
It it does make sense. I don't consider it a big fail or something like that. It's basically something which we have to validate along with the other hypotheses
Yeah,
which we have, and this is why we are doing this
yeah,
this pilot. And speaking of suppliers, okay, because that's a point which you mentioned in the in your comment now. What we also came up with during the creation of the pitch deck was actually a how to say, we call it, I don't want to use the phrase immediately, but I'm gonna have to, we call it the chicken and the egg problem. And
chicken egg problem. Sure, why not?
the chicken and the egg problem. And the thing is that while we were actually debating on where to what to push first, or how what to start with, basically what are the most relevant first steps to take in order to achieve and to succeed in the process, we came up with the fact that we are in a situation where we need to start communicating with influencers coming to the website. But in order to start communicating with these influencers, there has to be some relevant content in the website in order to attract the attention of these influencers and their viewers. But in order to have a relevant content on the website, we need to be able to offer to the suppliers some kind of amount of traffic, and so on. In order to be able to have some traffic on the website, we need to have content. In order to have content, we need traffic, and
Yeah,
so on, so on. So that is something which we are at the moment solving. There are a couple of strategies which we might or might not discuss today. That's not important, but it is a big step which we need to, or some kind of obstacle which we need to overcome in order to move forward. And the step of referring or changing the conversion rate strategy is basically something which will have a big deal in solving the chicken and the egg problem as well.
yeah. Um, yeah, what else to say? I mean, it's a very and I think it's a very common thing that a lot of businesses, um, type of directories, or marketplaces and so on, they go through, which is the to kickstart the whole thing is probably going to be the most difficult thing to do. So just like you said, I go to a supplier and I say, hey, can I sell your inventory? And they will say, sure, of course, let me take a look at what you already have. If you say, oh, we kind of have nothing, that's going to make our situation a little bit difficult. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it is
Uh,
um, eh, it's a difficult point. It brings us to another thing, and I'm gonna have to sidestep a little bit here,
mhm,
but it brings us to Affiworks, because this whole project actually, of course, it's about the distribution of 1,000 bookings to car
mhm,
rental companies in Mexico. But one of the ways to do it is to actually use Affiworks, which is a system that we've created, which helps car rental companies
mm.
work with third parties such as influencers,
L-
content
lem-
makers, and so on, to send them bookings and keep track of those bookings. So there are and Secret Goats is a way to show how this can work for somebody. That's why we're validating the business case. That's why we're doing everything that we're doing is not just for us to validate it and to build a business, but it's basically for anybody out there who's producing content in travel or something that's related to that, and they're thinking about, okay, how do I make money out of this? I have the, and you see a lot of people on you see a lot of people on YouTube, see a lot of people on Instagram and so on. They're producing content. They have a lot of followers or listeners or viewers and so on, and the only thing they do is they are on Patreon, for example, or they
yeah,
are on maybe they're not even on anything, they're not making any kind of money. And even just the fact, okay, so let's say I'm going, and you see some of them are doing this with maybe hotels, some of them are doing it with maybe booking.com, some of them
mhm.
are doing this with other services. But sometimes you just have no way how to do it with or for someone, because you just don't have the technical tools.
You don't have the tool to do it. Yeah, I was just gonna say because when you introduced Works to me a couple of months ago, the idea and generally how it works, and we'll get back to that in a little. We'll explain that in a little while, or probably you will be better explaining it. I remember I was so excited. I'm myself. I'm in the managerial business. I lead a team of about 40 people, and I immediately and we do services. Okay, we do medical business. We're in the medical business, and I immediately started thinking, how can I use this tool in order to basically in advance or promote services which we provide, and I'm still excited about how it works. There is a little minor micro project which is going on in my business, in my side business, and we are trying to basically pilot the system as well. And why I'm saying this is that apart from the rental business and the travel tourist and the tourism business in which we are now at the moment and which we are trying to promote, I think that the tool is generally usable if you abstract some points in other types of businesses as well. Absolutely.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the reason we're doing this with the car rental business is because I've been in the business for 7 years, and that's kind of where it came from. That's where the opportunity came from. And and I think travel, even though we're in the middle of 2021 and the pandemic is still raging across the globe right now, the restrictions are kind of lower. A lot of people have been vaccinated and so on, but
Mm-hmm.
you definitely see a different approach to the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Mexico, for example, which is our target market, or if you look at the United States, and if you look at Europe, I mean, I'm personally postponing traveling in Europe this summer, just because the rules keep changing. They change
Absolutely.
every week, so it's very difficult to plan
Yeah.
something. And I mean, I also traveled already, but anyway, I think it's still valid. Travel business is still going to go on. Definitely, United States and Mexico are full on. Let's see how that continues, but these small operators, small and medium sized operators who are not able to get on rentalcars.com or some of these bigger search engines, because it's a huge expenditure in terms of what you need to build, the kind of volume that you need to have to get there.
To manage the
This
infrastructure, to cover the infrastructure.
yeah, to have the infrastructure to get on these search engines. This is a tool that's perfect for them because these small operators can now work with um, uh, different sales channels. It
Yeah.
basically gives them it gives them a huge opportunity to work with new sales channels.
Do we have a link where we can mention, which we can mention, and maybe direct the people? Maybe somebody who's listening wants to have a look at what Affiworks is.
I mean, it's Affiworks, so it's AFFIWORKS.com. It's also in the comments. It's going to be in the comments of the video on that we put out on YouTube. So it should be rather easy to find.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
One more thing that I would say about Affiworks is that, and this is also something that came out
Pitch deck.
of the pitch deck, which I was particularly very excited about,
Yeah.
was that when we were putting Affiworks together, one of the main ideas was that it's got a big business impact
Mm-hmm.
on for the car rental
Yeah.
companies as well as the content makers, the
Yeah.
influencers, and so on. The people who are basically, we
They
call
make.
them resellers
Yeah.
in general, and that translates into commission.
Mm-hmm.
And the way Affyworks is structured is that it's offering industry leading commission. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that we had to put together for the pitch deck, and that was very interesting, were the numbers for how it comes out. So
Mm-hmm.
looking at the competition, and if you look at our competition, you got basically three types of competition. Number one are the major search engines. So looking at, for example, booking.com, expedia.com,
Mm-hmm.
rentalcars.com, and so on. These are the guys who aggregate the biggest car rental companies. And these guys, they're offering somewhere between, it's a little bit variable, but it comes down to a commission of between 6 to 8%.
So
Okay.
if I am a content maker, and I use a link basically, or something that is promoted on rentalcars.com or expedia.com or booking.com, and my follower or my listener uses the link and makes the booking through my website booking.com, or through my content booking.com, or these major partners are gonna give me 6% of the booking made.
I hope they don't sue us for saying this. We might be wrong. We might be wrong. But
Okay.
this is how we calculated it. This is what it comes down to. One of the things that's also, I think, um, for you as an influencer,
Mm-hmm.
something that you need to take into consideration is the fact that you're dealing with pretty monotonous supply.
Mm-hmm.
So all these guys, they're getting supply from the same guys, and
Mm-hmm.
also most people are they go to these search engines. So if you, let's say you're promoting Booking.com, who doesn't know Booking.com?
Yeah.
Almost everybody. Okay, in the
Mm-hmm.
United States, maybe it's a little bit more
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Expedia, maybe it's a few other websites, but
Yeah.
they're all taking content from the same sources. You're basically still producing the same content. You're promoting a very commoditized business,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is not very good for your competitive advantage. I
Yeah.
think what might be a little bit more interesting is if you have a little bit more varied product where you're offering something which is not so prevalent on the market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's also basically what Afterworks does, because since you're working with more local, more unique suppliers, you can be offering something that somebody else is not offering, and at the same time you're getting higher commission. I was talking about the three types of competition. Number one was the search engines. Number two is some of the biggest players on the market, like, for example, I don't know, Airbnb, Uber, and so on, which
Mm-hmm.
is somehow related to travel, so you can
Yeah.
also be promoting these guys.
Yeah.
And number three is the individual car rental companies, which they offer good commission, but at the same time, again, then you're getting to the problem of, okay, do I have enough inventory to actually make it worth my while?
Yeah.
Because then that they
I,
just might not have the amount of cars that are
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah. They could be offering me a great bunch of a huge commission, but if I send them an extreme number of business, and they're not able to satisfy half of it, my customers, my people are not going to be happy, and it's going to hurt me as well. That's
Exactly.
logical.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So these kinds of things come out of the pitch deck. It was quite interesting. Affiworks and Secret Goats, which runs on Affiworks and which runs with the idea of this is how we want to do it. That just offers you this kind of variety, opportunities for growth, and also opportunities to make money.
Yeah, yeah. So, are we gonna say what the commission is if it's the competitive advantage?
Oh, I mean,
Is
12.
it a good time to say what the
I
commission
mean,
is?
sure, sure. I mean, absolutely. The commission is 12 plus percent.
Mm.
It's 12 or more percent. So if you're depending on the type of supplier that you're working with, but we're trying to guarantee 12%, because if you look at what the car rental companies are paying on the market rate for commission for referrals of business is somewhere between 15 to 25%. So if they're getting referrals from the big search engines, they're paying something between 15 to 25%. Usually, it's closer to 25. I've heard about some places that charge you up to 30%. So that's quite steep. We're starting at 12%. The rate for Affiworks for the
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure, for the distribution, for the you get the analytics and all these things. It keeps track of everything. Is the infrastructure fee is 3%. So it comes down. The cost to the car rental company is 15, and the earnouts for the affiliate or the content maker or the reseller in general is 12%. There are a few minor details like level 2 commission, which is if you're referring a reseller and so on, but I don't think we need to go into detail. The main point is that this is really good commission, and once you are on Affiworks, once you're working with Affiworks, it actually
Yeah.
allows you to connect with any supplier that's also on Affiworks. So let's say you got 10 companies on Affiworks, and you sign up as an affiliate, you can immediately start working with these 10 companies. So obviously, this is a volume game. In the beginning, it's probably not going to be the greatest in the world, but as we go forward and as we keep building, as we keep adding companies, it's going to be more and more interesting.
Yeah. And speaking of commission, I gotta say, this is really a very interesting know-how. You know, like every time you start a business or you wanna get into some kind of business, finding out this information about what the actual commissions in the business are, that's like the gold nugget, right? Once you get information like that, it's very important to have it, and that once you have that, you can start building your own idea and building your own business. I'm getting to is I used to have a business in real estate, or trying to basically help people get real estate abroad, specifically in Greece. And that was an experience about commission which I had, and it wasn't unusual that especially in Greece you get paid a commission from both sides,
Mm,
seller and the buyer, right? It's basically you're in the middle of the business,
yeah,
and you get the commission, and on top of that, there's always a big cut for all the administrative things that you have to do. The point is, again, buying real estate in Greece can get you very very pricey, because the numbers the numbers rise with all the administrative and commissions which are paid to all the
yeah,
intermediaries.
yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely, definitely, and I think it's a very important. It's very important information for your scale. As you want to scale, you definitely want to know what is going to cost you to get more sales. So it's very important information, and it's different in every industry. And as far as I know, in real estate, it can be somewhere between, let's say, 3, 5, 6%, something like that, depending on whether you have sell side, buy side, and so on. It works different in every country. In the United States, As far as I know, you also have a buy side and sell side. So you're also paying commission twice. In some of the countries in Europe, you're only paying for one side of the equation. So it's an interesting thing. Anyway, here we get the data. We have the data. So let's see how that works out. Basically, we know how much we should be making. We know the average value of a booking, which is important for our business case. Now, the only thing which is quite significant, but we're going to see how that works out, is how we're going to be able to convert
Yeah.
visitors, how many visitors we're going to be able to get, how much it's going to cost. And it goes back to what we already talked about before, which is the question of are we going to be able to spend $1 and make more than $1, or are we going to spend $1 and are we going to lose money on the dollar? So that's the number one thing that we need to find out, and that's pretty much, I mean, if you think about it, if you extrapolate everything that we're doing here over the 15 weeks,
Mhm.
that's all that we're actually trying to do. We're trying to that's how we get to 1,000 bookings. If it doesn't work, then it's going to be very difficult to. I mean, we can get the 1,000 bookings, but it's going to cost us more money as we try to get more bookings. If we can make it work, if we can make the business case work, then there's no end to it.
Yeah. And I think we sort of covered all the points we wanted today.
Yeah,
As I see it, we talked about
efficient.
we talked about the pitch deck. The debate was very thorough. We talked about our major competition and the competitive advantage Affiworks as our main engine of the whole business provides. We explained Affiworks itself. And we talked about basically validation of our business case, which brought us the chicken and egg problem, and our conversion rates, which are basically the main point of our focus now for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, 10 more weeks.
10 more weeks, buddy.
All right, cool, very good. I mean, that's what it is. Thanks for joining. Thanks for giving us your inputs. It was quite interesting today, so I'm looking forward to another week very much.
Me too. Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. And just if you want to follow us, don't forget to check our website, secretgoats.com. And if you want to leave us a comment on the video or in the just down below, just go ahead. We'll be happy to hear from you.
We also have to learn to say subscribe to our channel.
Okay. Don't forget.
A lot of people say that.
Do they? Yeah, they do. They do.
All right, cool. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Yeah,
take care. Bye.